Welcome to the Hairy Vegetarian. Today I have with me a guest, Evan Courtney, and he's going to make Raisin Bran Muffins.
Okay, so this is a recipe that my mother gave to me. It's a very simple recipe. You just use Raisin Bran cereal, any brand will do. Sometimes I like to add more raisins to make it more raisiny, but I start out by putting in about 3 cups of Raisin Bran into a big bowl. And then I put in 1.25 cups of almond milk. You could use regular cow's milk, but we're using almond milk today. And I do all of this so that the Raisin Bran can get nice and soggy while you do the other stuff. So then this is 1/3 cup of oil. We're using olive oil, but you could use vegetable oil of any kind. And last, an egg. And then you just kind of let it all hang out. Oops, got a little shell in there. Just let it all hang out and so that the bran gets nice and soft. This is not maybe an exact recipe because sometimes I just kind of use whatever I have, and sometimes it's more and sometimes it's less. I just need a big mixing spoon. I'll just use this. And so just mix it all together. And what you want to see is about the top of the bran is just barely covered by the wet ingredients. So this looks like it might need just a little bit more milk. Just kind of eyeball it. Okay, this looks about right. So just let that kind of get nice and soggy. Let the bran kind of break down. So then for your dry ingredients, there is about 1.25 cups of all-purpose flour. I've used different kinds of flour, but I think that all-purpose flour really works the best, so I would stick with that. There's the oven ready. This is between 1/3 and 1/2 cup of sugar. Again, it's just kind of, sometimes I've used 1/4 cup, just, depending on how sweet you want it to be. You need a tablespoon, that's tablespoon, not teaspoon, of baking powder, not baking soda. And then what ends up probably being about, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon of salt or something. I just kind of eyeball it. Sweet stuff needs salt too to bring out the flavors. So then my secret ingredient is, this is roasted Saigon cinnamon, but any kind of ground cinnamon that you have will work well, and just kind of, I don't know, it's probably like a 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. You can put in as much as you want. I always just kind of eyeball it. I've made this recipe so many times. Okay, so then just kind of let it all mix together. It doesn't have to be super mixed. And you don't have to sift it either. It's just, to get everything mixed together. Okay, so then go back to your bran and wet ingredients. This is looking thoroughly soggy and mixed. So then just add in the dry ingredients. And you want to mix this only 10 times, okay? Because what happens is that if you mix and mix and mix and mix, it starts to create a gluten structure, which does something, and it kind of makes tunnels in the muffins that it's not as dense of a texture, and it's not as uniform of a texture. So you want to make sure that you don't overmix the batter. Okay? So I'm just mixing it. Mix it about 10 times, like I said. And so as you can see, it's a pretty dry batter. It's not, it's not too cakey. It's not, it's fairly dry. It's gonna be pretty dense when we put it in. Oh, also sometimes what I like to do is put in something like flaxseed meal. Kind of just gives a nice texture to the muffins and a nice healthy kick. Okay, so then you just got a standard 12 thing muffin tin, and I've oiled it with Pam, and just kind of spoon it in. Spoon in each one. Probably until it's about 2/3 of the way up the thing. Okay, so we've got all of the muffin tins filled. They're really pretty full, actually. It depends on how much batter you make, but they don't puff up a lot because there's not a lot of leavening, and it's really a pretty dense batter. So even right up to the top would be fine. So now these are going to go in the oven for 30 minutes, but I'm right at sea level, so that will make a difference for how long you bake them. If you're, I made them once at about 6,000 feet, and 30 minutes was too long. So just kind of between 20 and 30 minutes based on where you are elevation-wise. So we'll just put them right in. It's a 400-degree oven. And let them bake for half an hour. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, and they're ready. So we'll go ahead and take them out. They smell delicious. Some of the raisins that are on top get a little bit brown and crispy, but it's just kind of how it goes. So they'll cool for, maybe 10 minutes or so, and then you can kind of pop them out and eat them. And there we are, Raisin Bran Muffins. You can add a little butter if you want, cut them open. Thank you.
Can't wait.
I know, they're super good. One for you.
Thank you. And one for you.
Can't wait.
Perfect.
Crisp bottom.
That's really
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.